Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy.
This is the bare bones
podcast.
I can make more noises if that makes things easier. Get that shit off. God damn it.
Stop looking at my screen, you perv.
Fucking balls. Alright.
Episode 4, right?
We are definitely not recording this immediately after recording the last episode.
They don't need to know.
Listen, this topic today is gonna be our eye bleach after
last mindfuck shit.
After
whatever.
last week.
I said last time.
Whatever. So we got a few different things to go through. First off, we got a couple of stories before our actual main topic. Our first story comes from unexplainedmysteries.com. I think this website might have given me a virus.
And you're on it again.
That's not libel. I allegedly might have given me a virus, not saying it did. Alien abduction sign shows up in England. A sign chastising a local council for not stopping alien abductions has appeared in the West Midlands. That's a part of the UK, laddie.
Oh really? Tell me
fuck.
more.
I don't think they say lad. No, they say lads. Oi, governor! That's British.
I don't know what to say to that.
There are still a surprising number of people who believe that they have, at some stage in their lives, encountered beings from another world. Wow, that's a condescending sentence. The traditional abduction experience usually involves a person being taken from their home, subjugated to medical experiments, and then returned with their memories of the encounter distorted or erased. Now, according to a strange sign that's recently appeared in Sedgley, England, it seems that for someone, at least, alien abduction still appears to be a pressing concern. This is what the sign says. Quote, 3 alien abductions here in 1 week. And the sign reads in black stenciled writing. Oddly, it even goes so far as to blame the local authorities by adding, when are the council going to do something? As things stand. Nobody seems to know who put the sign there, who the 3 alleged abductees are, or what the sign's creator believes the council could do about it anyway. There is something definitely going on with the UFO activity in the West Midlands, but no one would ever go on record to confirm that, said a local councillor. So, I thought that was an interesting story. Somebody is trying to take things in their own hands and press the government to do what is right. They need to do something about
Those
these
freaking aliens.
You know, what are they supposed to do?
They're crossing the border.
Okay.
The space border.
Those aliens. What is the council supposed to do about it? Fuck if I know, but they should figure that out.
What are they supposed to do? Like, the fuck?
They should figure that out.
Let's just hit up the alien number real quick. Be like, y'all, stop fucking with us.
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of different subjects. People always come at it with that. Well, the government should do something about this. Okay, what should they do?
I know exactly. Like,
what should the town? What was it called? Sedgley, Sedgley.
England.
Oh dearie, I'm going on down to Sedgley.
My tea.
Have myself a cornetto. Or breath. That's what they fucking call each other. The chavs.
I'm imagining right now someone holding like little teacup. They see an alien, like the little teacup's shaking. Their tea's falling out.
You know what? These goddamn Brits, they can complain about us making fun of them. But they shouldn't have lost in WW2. All right, USA number
my
one,
God.
baby. I have a history degree.
How's that working out for you?
Shut up. So, our next story comes to us from necn.com, titled, this one's a little more serious, DOJ seeks to reinstate death penalty for Boston Marathon bomber. The move to reinstate the death penalty for the Boston Marathon bomber, Zokhar Tsarnaev, man, that's a name. First made by Trump administration, now has the support of President Joe Biden. So, Big Daddy Biden says he wants to kill the Boston bomber. I'm trying to remember when the bombing happened. 2013 it happened? Yeah, 2013. So yeah, Biden would have been vice president whenever it happened. Mm-hmm. The Department of Justice urged the Supreme Court to reinstate the death penalty for Boston Marathon bomber Zokhar Tsarnaev Monday, calling it, quote, one of the worst, unquote, acts of terrorism on U.S. soil since September 11th. Despite President Joe Biden's public opposition to capital punishment, his administration supported an appeal first filed by his predecessor in a 48-page brief filed with the Supreme Court, which seeks to overturn a decision from a lower court to vacate Tsarnaev's death sentence.
Freaking hypocrites.
The death sentence was overturned last July by federal appeals court that said the judge who oversaw the case did not adequately screen jurors for potential biases. How do you find an unbiased jury for something like that?
I mean, well, like, how are people? Yeah, like, how are people supposed to?
The case was first appealed by the Justice Department in October while former President Donald Trump was still in office. It posed a test of Biden's commitment to ending the federal death penalty, which Trump resumed after a nearly 2-decade pause. Ooh.
Oh.
Dog's barking at something. Fuck.
Is that a car honk?
Are your ghetto-ass neighbors doing something?
Let's walk outside.
Her neighbors are sketch as fuck.
Oh, we got stories.
All right. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I didn't even know that the federal government had gotten rid of the death penalty.
I mean, federal government did,
but a lot of states.
not
still have
states.
it.
Yeah, states are different.
Yeah. Good old Texas.
Deep in the
Heart of Texas. Oh my God, that's how you find all the Texans in the room. You just poke your head in and just shout that, see who claps instinctively. Next story comes to us from StaffordShireLive.co.uk, and it's titled, Man refused to wear face mask claiming it shrunk his manhood.
I think he put it on wrong.
Yikes. Yikes. He told customers that's why he did not have one on. A man has been reported to police after telling fellow shoppers that they should not wear face masks because he bizarrely warned it had shrunk his manhood, police have said. Officers from Mercia Police Safer Neighborhood Team, interesting title, were stunned when they heard the man's strange reasoning for refusing to wear a face mask in the South Derbyshire store. A spokesman said, quote, Unbelievably, another seasoned shopper was reported to advise customers not to wear face coverings because he felt it caused the shrinking of an unmentionable body part, unquote.
Wow.
My.
What was that?
Sound British sound.
That was quite aggressive. No, we're gonna edit that out.
Officers have now listed many incidents of people refusing to wear masks in shops, warning that the new Indian Delta variant means it is more important than ever to keep yourself and shop workers safe. saying this man's silly excuse was the worst. One such incident concerned a middle-aged man who stated that he did not want to wear a face mask because he believed his, quote, intelligence quotient, unquote, meaning his IQ, would reduce.
I mean, you are getting less oxygen to the brain, right? So it kills those brain cells.
I'll see you at the Republican convention. Fuck. All right.
No, I was being sarcastic. Jesus.
One such incident I already read that. A spokesman for the police said, quote,
Oh, God. Getting that voice out. Ew. What the fuck?
That had to happen.
We need to redo this episode.
Ugh. I haven't even eaten a bulgogi today. It's just coming. A spokesman for the police said, quote, even though the astuteness measuring tool does not record a minus result, the male persisted with his argumentative and belligerent manner, causing upset, unquote. In another incident, the spokesman said, quote, to the entitled female consumer of senior years who pushed past an employee, but not before screeching that she'd been vaccinated and therefore did not need to wear a face covering, please think about others who are yet to receive a vaccine. Your abusive manner did not go unnoticed. So these are like everyday workers just trying to do their fucking job, and people are just kind of being dicks and like, oh, I don't want to wear a mask, so I'm gonna cause a fucking ruckus in your store.
Just mind your business. You know, like, you don't have to
Just
do
people,
anything crazy.
it's not hard. Just carry a mask in your pocket and just fucking wear it.
Unless you're vaccinated, you don't have to.
That's America though. Medieval dungeons.
Those are
What's your
still
thoughts on them?
old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, stuff happens.
I thought this was very interesting. So, I had the idea for our topic today because I was trying to think of the most dark, macabre things I could, and I was like, medieval times, you know? It's
Back to the good old
the
days.
Dark Ages. And I actually learned a lot from this. For one thing, our fucking ancestors are
Yours,
psychopaths.
not mine.
My ancestors are fucking psychopaths. Holy shit. So, medieval dungeons, they were commonly thought as dark, dank places that were underground. However, that's not really true. Most medieval dungeons, especially like back when castles were first starting, were actually towers. That's why like you hear about a lot that the Tower of London was used as a prison to keep prisoners. And most of that was one, like a tower's high up, it's a lot harder to escape from. And like it's going to be a little more secure away from people. Also, making them like dark and dirty. Back in the day, like you didn't really take like peasants prisoner. You took like other royalty prisoner because you would try and ransom them, get some money back. And it was kind of like an unspoken rule. Royalty treats other royalty well because, you might get taken prisoner one day and you don't want people to be like, hey, he tortured my brother, torturing him. And so because of that, a lot of times also like royal prisoners, they were aristocrats and stuff. They were allowed to just freely roam the castle. Like they could just go wherever they wanted. Just, hey, don't run away. We're gonna come after you. Yeah. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay for food.
I know, right?
Just don't leave.
College students' dream.
Oh,
Free
man.
food, rent.
So the word dungeon actually comes from the word the French word donjon, meaning a secured place, and it's usually the term used to describe the main keep, which is like the main body of the castle. Eventually, as castles became more about like luxury living, I got something attached to me. As they became more luxurious and like noble, people were actually using them more as homes than like defensive forts. Nobles, they needed somewhere. They wanted somewhere to keep prisoners that was like a little more away, like they wouldn't have to see or hear them a whole lot. Because again, like castles kind of became more for decoration. You know, you don't want your prisoners being seen. And so that's why they started moving them to cellars and basements, and that's where the whole, dark, dank, disgusting idea of dungeons came from. So, God, I could hear your dog snoring. It is like
She does snore.
It is like a fucking train.
You can probably hear it in the background.
I could hear her fart earlier. So, we're going to be talking about some medieval torture methods. First one I really wanted to go over, and this is an honorable mention, was the Iron Maiden.
Go on.
Have you heard of the Iron Maiden?
I heard of it, don't really know what it is.
I'm sure you've heard of, the band. But, wow, okay, you haven't heard Iron Maiden. I'm going to make you listen to some old school rock and roll after this. So, Iron Maidens weren't actually real. They were the, sarcophagus with the spikes inside. The whole idea was you put a person inside.
And then the spikes go. Okay, yeah, I know what that is.
And the thing is, they literally, we can trace back when they were created in the 1800s. It was just some showmen. They went into a museum and they found various pieces of other artifacts, and they just put them together and thought, that looks spooky, and we can put that on show and make money off selling tickets. Mm-hmm. So that's when the Iron Maiden was created. I just thought I would at least mention it because it's a very popular one. Because
how did it turn into a torture device?
It wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought it was.
Do you have the attention span of like 6 seconds? Holy shit, we just talked about this.
Oh, really?
I just said it wasn't real. It was something somebody in the 1800s created as a show tool. Stop looking at my script.
Wow, that just went over my head.
I just described it to you. Where have you been?
This whole episode has been a dumpster fire.
This whole show. Okay, so moving on to actual ones that existed. First one we got is really the rack. That's the wooden frame, and it's got these like rollers. So it's a wooden frame with rollers at both ends, and like typically it's the stretcher. You've seen like cartoons and stuff. Mm-hmm. You attach a victim's wrists and ankles to ropes on the rollers, and then using a ratchet you tighten the ropes, which pull on the victim's limbs. The very gruesome aspect of it is that loud popping noises would come out as the cartilage and joints start to separate and pop. Usually, like, you wouldn't just do the rack to a prisoner. Usually you would also, as you were like pulling their limbs like that, stabbing them in the side with hot pokers and like tearing out fingernails. Yeah, like I said,
terrible.
My ancestors were psychos, okay? Germany was not a good place even 80 years ago. Next one is the thumb screw. It's literally just a vice grip with sharp points. You take a victim's fingers, so you have these like two flat parts, and they'll have like little sharp points on them, and then you take a victim's fingers, put them in there, and then you tighten down with a screw,
what the heck?
Crushing them. The interesting thing, I didn't know this. I had heard of the boot previously. I'm going to talk about this one next. I'd heard people mention this, like the boot and stuff when they talk about medieval torture, but I didn't know what they meant. Apparently, it's an entire family of like medieval torture devices that all involve like crushing human body parts. So literally, like there was a time when like crushing people's body parts was such a common thing. Like people became specialists at it. They had like special tools specifically whose only purpose was crushing body parts.
Why did they torture people in so much in the first place? Like what? Like
I mean, stuff like the Spanish Inquisition, when they tortured people because they wanted them to admit that they were like heretics and stuff. Which you torture somebody long enough, they'll admit to whatever you want.
Yeah,
them to.
exactly. So you can stop.
Yeah. So yeah, the thumb screw. Moving on, we have the boot. There's various devices that fall under that. But the whole idea is it's a device that inflicts a crushing pain on the victim. One of the more famous ones is the Spanish boot, which I will show you a picture of now. So see how I was talking about, like, it's literally just a device. The whole idea is you put all these straps on, and then you start tightening these screws, and it tightens all the straps and just crushes the person's leg.
What the heck?
Or they have other versions where it's just an iron boot, and then you drive wooden wedges in there, and it just the sheer force of it driving it in with like a hammer shatters the person's bones.
Ow.
Yeah.
Who the heck came up with this stuff?
Psychopaths. Yeah.
Ew.
So
That was ugh.
that's the boot. Next, we have flaying, which is not fillet, flay, Flay.
Play.
Literally means to skin someone alive.
Oh God. Oh no.
In 1314, the brothers Agne, who were lovers of the daughters-in-law of King Philip I believe that's the fourth. I don't know how to read Roman numerals very well. Of France, they were flayed alive, then castrated and beheaded, and their bodies were exposed on gallows, all because they decided to fuck his daughter-in-law.
Can you even survive that much pain? Can't you die from like too much pain?
I'm sure at a certain point, like, your brain just shuts off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
like at a certain point. In 1323, the Mexican tribe, the Mexica tribe, otherwise known as the Aztecs, asked for Yecahuatl, the daughter of Achimacoatl, ruler of Culhuacan, in marriage. So they have this other tribe leader, and they ask for his daughter in marriage. Unknown to him, she was sacrificed, and the priest appeared during the festival dinner wearing her skin as part of the ritual.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the Aztecs were fucking hardcore. Yeah. Next, this one's really fucked up and interesting. The rat torture. So, you have a prisoner, right? Mm-hmm. They're tied down. They can't move. A lot of times they'll like put them in a chair or something. A rat is placed inside of a bucket. The bucket is strapped to the prisoner's chest, and then a fire is placed at the end of the bucket, heating the bucket up. The rat, who is scared of the heat and starts to enter like a fight or flight mode, searches for the easiest way out of the bucket. Being strapped to the guy's chest, he bites and scratches through the soft flesh of the person,
Ow.
eventually gnawing its way into the prisoner's flesh. And I have a fun video for you to watch.
No.
I hope you like Game of Thrones, because
I've never watched it.
there's a scene in Game of Thrones where
Oh, there's a lot of scenes in Game of
there's a
Thrones.
lot of scenes. I don't know what scenes you're talking about.
Back to normal.
But yeah, this is exactly what the rat torture is.
Oh, they actually did it. Oh, the pain. Just like...
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. Fucking
I can't
metal.
imagine how that would feel.
Fucking metal. So that's the rat torture.
Not fun
That
looking.
one would happen. And yeah, stuff like that, I'm just like, who the fuck comes up with this?
Exactly. They had too much free time back then.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't have TV or Instagram or...
Go crazy.
If only, medieval people had TikTok, then we wouldn't have all these torture methods.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok saves lives and supports the Chinese government, apparently. Taiwan #1.
What?
The next one. So this is the final one. This one, honestly, I personally think... Wow. Oh my God, your dog snores. That was so loud.
I bet you can hear it in the background.
Oh, probably. I'm going to leave it in. And let everybody listen to your fucking dog snore. So this one...
It's not her fault she's fat, okay?
It's y'all's fault. She's fat. Moving on. So this last one, I personally think is the scariest one. Like, I think for me, like, thinking about if I was put into this situation, I would go fucking crazy pretty quick. It is called the oubliette. It is a French term that basically it translates to like the forgotten. Often it was built as a narrow passage, only wide enough to allow a prisoner to stand. So
You're just standing there?
it's literally like they would have at the bottom of this dungeon, it's a hole dug in the ground. A lot of times they would be shaped like a wine bottle. So it's like wide at the bottom and then it narrows and it's really thin. And it's just a hole that you get put in and you're just left there. And nobody comes back and it's dark. The prisoner could not sit. A lot of times the way they built them, it was like thin enough you couldn't sit down. There was no room for you to sit down.
Standing.
You can't lay down. You're just standing. But the thing is too, you couldn't even like stand completely erect because the ceiling was curved. You had to be like hunched over.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'd get sore and like...
It's also underground, so it's often cold, damp, and it's completely dark. Sometimes water would build up, and so you as the prisoner would be partially submerged the whole time in there. The only entrance and exit was the small opening at the top. And oftentimes the prisoners just kind of got put in there and forgotten. Sometimes you get in and like the remains from the last guy were still in there. And I think that's why like it seemed like the most terrifying one to me, just because that idea of just
Not being able to move.
it is dark, it is uncomfortable, and you can't get away from it.
And you just slowly like...
And yeah, you're just
starve and
slowly
then-
rotting away.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is like a thought that has always scared me, is like the idea of like I'm trapped somewhere and like I'm just rotting away.
That's deep stuff.
Also, I have problems with my mother.
I know it sounds weird, but it's like, I want to know how long I could last in like a situation like that.
I guess you would probably die of dehydration first.
I mean, no, I wouldn't be there like, you know, I'd be like,
3
tap
days.
out, tap out.
Oh, you mean like you get the choice to leave?
Yeah, just be like how long I can stay in there, you know? Like,
Honestly, I probably couldn't make it longer than an hour. Like, I don't know, just the idea of me, like, standing still in a dark place for so long, like, it does. It gives me anxiety. Then again, like, I just have anxiety in general, so. Yeah, I don't know, that's freaky.
that is weird, just like being there, just stand, I don't even know.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really happy. We have some fucked up stuff in our modern society, but like, at least in our
It's not this crazy.
At least in our Constitution, cruel and unusual punishment is something that's recognized. Mm-hmm. Like, though we do have solitary confinement in the U.S., and it's pretty fucked up.
They can mess with their minds even more.
Yeah. But you know what messes with our minds the most? Modern society, capitalism, bitches,
Oh, are you woke
orange
now?
man bad.
That's what this. Ah!
Yeah, you can't even finish your joke. Well, hey, that's
That's what the media wants you to think. They're brainwashing
the
you.
globalist. Well, hey, that's all I got. If you guys like what you hear, please just give us a like, subscribe, share us around. Go scream at a wall, all right? Just like let the world know that you're alive. All right? You can fly. All of you out there, you can fly.
Didn't Red Bull get sued because on their commercial said Red Bulls give you wings, and then someone drank it and they're like, no, it actually doesn't.
Oh no, let's just fucking end this while we're ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys.